Отже, всім привіт! Мене звати Ліза Максимець, я employer бренд менеджер компанії Riddle, а також я є членом leadership team в нашому employer branding community. Напередодні нового навчального року ми з командою вирішили зробити таку серію івентів про навчання для employer brand спеціалістів, для того, щоб ви могли ознайомитись з різними сертифікаційними програмами, навчальними програмами, які пропонують міжнародний ринок, а також український ринок провайдерів. У серпні у нас відбудеться декілька таких зустрічей, і сьогодні у нас перша, на яку ми запросили Еву Carlson, продакт-оунера з Employer Branding Academy, яку майже 10 років тому започаткувала компанія всім відома Universum. А також у нас сьогодні буде другий спікер, це Євгенія Бежнар, Надія Бежнар, пробачте, яка пройшла вже цей курс і поділиться сьогодні своїм експірієнсом, досвідом навчання. Ця програма є англійською мовою. Наші гості сьогодні будуть говорити англійською мовою, тому ми зараз плавно переходимо на англійську для того, щоб всім було комфортно. Маємо надію, що всім зрозуміла мова, презентація буде нескладна, ну і в будь-якому випадку ті, хто захочуть вчитися, проходити будуть її англійською мовою. So, colleagues, please, let's welcome Eva and Nadia, who will today present the Employer Branding Management course and the opportunities that Universum gives to people who want to develop in employer branding, who want to upskill, and who want to get the international certification. So, Eva, nice to meet you. Thank you very much for devoting your time, that you agreed to share this unique opportunity with us, and please welcome. We can start.
Great, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that I'm very happy to be here and also very humbled to have the opportunity to speak to your community. And please know that we wholeheartedly stand with you during this time and support you in any way we can, big or small. So I'll jump into this here. This is one of the small ways which hopefully you'll be able to benefit from, that we can help you personally and professionally in the field of employer branding. So as mentioned, my name is Eva Carlson, and I am the product owner for Employer Branding Academy here at Universum Communications. Also on a personal note, I can also mention that I have been working with Employer Branding Academy since 2017. And it's been absolutely fantastic. I think the Academy is really great, and it's been a privilege to connect with so many passionate specialists around the world who have been taking this course. And it's become very apparent in the past few years how important employer branding is and how much it has grown. So it's been a very exciting time to be here. A bit more background about the Academy itself. It was founded in 2014. Within Universum, we are part of Universum. And since its founding, we have certified over 1,300 individuals from over 70 countries. And one of the great things about the course is that it encapsulates Universum's over 30 years of experience, because Universum has been around for quite a while. It's one of the leading agencies in employer branding. But it takes all that knowledge and experience that we have, and it puts it together into this course. And that includes insights and best practices from what we call the world's most attractive employers, the ones who we want to learn from to see what they're doing right and try to share that. We're also backed by Universum's rich foundation of data. Universum was actually founded on a purpose of research and data and understanding students. So we come from a data-driven background. So we use some of that as well in the course. And finally, the last point here, which I've understood from feedback from the participants, is that it does a good job of walking learners through a very structured, step-by-step approach to a full, strategic employer branding journey. And I mean, we've had a lot of companies represented. We've had some very well-known global ones, but we've also had a number of smaller companies, startups, medium size. And I also want to mention that we have also had participants from different backgrounds as well. There have been participants, of course, from employer branding specialists and talent acquisition, but also recruitment, HR professionals, and marketing and communications as well. And on top of that, they come from different experience levels. So we've had people who, this is their very first time working with employer branding, to others who have been working with it for quite a while, but they still want to add to, they're still learning, and they want to complement what they know about it. So I'll get into the practical stuff in just a minute. Just a couple more things. The satisfaction from our feedback survey has been very positive, and 9 out of 10 would recommend to a colleague and friend, which is fantastic for us to see. So just 2 quotes, in the words, not of me, but in the words of some of our alumni, they have said, let me minimize my window here so I can see it. One said, for example, that having gone through the online journey, the course, not only do they learn how to craft an attractive and distinctive, credible and sustainable EVP, but he became a much better storyteller and was inspired by all the examples that are in the course. And another participant also said that it was a great opportunity to deepen her knowledge and expertise. And the material provided some great insights into how to build, activate, and measure an organization's employer brand. So in the words of some of them. Now, I'm going to jump into some of the more practical stuff. So what is the program? What does it look like? What can I expect if I take it? To start, we do have 2 options that you can choose from. So I will review this again at the very end. And we have what we call the fall program, because the next one coming up is this fall. It kicks off on September 15th. And there's also a self-study, which is a little bit cheaper. So if we start with a fall program, the way it's structured is between these dates. We'll have a live kickoff webinar, which I will host together with Richard Mosley, who is one of the leading employer branding thought leaders. I have a video with him, which you will see, but we will host a kickoff. And then you will take the modules, in parallel with anyone else who is taking the program during this time. And we also have, which is marked by these pink circles, community calls. And these are just friendly opportunities to reconnect, if you can, with the rest of the participants. And we'll just have a little conversation and ask some questions all together about what you're learning, and primarily so that you can share with one another, questions and tips about your work. And then we conclude with the certification. And the certification is something I will talk about a little bit later. And that's a lot of fun. You get to present a final project that you put together. And it's not too intimidating. It's just a great opportunity to take what you learned and put it to practice. Now, the other option is the self-study. And I know this is a good option for many who, don't really know how to plan the next few months because there's a lot of changes going on. So the self-study is completely flexible, and then you can start whenever you want. The main difference is that it doesn't include the live interactive touch points, but there are, webinar recordings are provided, so you can watch those and you can take it at your pace. So you can take, 6 months if you need to take a break. So it's a lot more flexible for you if you would prefer the self-study option. And there will still be a live certification ceremony. We do have those options all the time. All right, now the platform, that's the other aspect of this. We host it in an e-learning platform called Learnifier. And in here, you can find a whole wealth of material, a library of material as you go through. It's pretty intuitive, I think. There's a lot of material in here, but we really try to structure it so it flows really good. And you'll find a lot of different resources and extra dig deeper material, all optional, but they are there. There's templates and exercises that you can use. You can print them and you can use them. There's also quizzes, so you can check your key takeaways as you go through. Lots of videos, and these are all fresh. We have a lot of new videos, and these are our colleagues actually at Universum who are talking about the topics that you're learning and sharing their tips and tricks, for example. And then of course cases. There's examples, real life examples that you can see of how other companies have done something. Okay. All right, I'm actually going to take a break so you can stop listening to me for 2 minutes and have a listen to Richard Mosley, as mentioned. He has been part of the Employer Branding Academy journey since the very beginning and has been very supportive. I mean, he has worked directly with a lot of clients on their employer branding strategies. So it's fantastic to have him here. There's a number of videos that he has in the course, and this is just a little part of one of those videos at the beginning. So I'll just share that before I continue, and hopefully you can hear it.
As I say, the important thing throughout here is that it's a 9-step journey. It's broken into 4 modules. You'll be seeing a fair bit of me because I'm going to be introducing each module as we go and giving you a bit of an outro. Important to pace yourself, take your time. This is not the kind of course you necessarily want to, rush through in a couple of weeks. The great thing about an online course and the materials as we set them out is that you can really pace yourself, do a few steps, go through a few of the individual parts, do a bit of deep diving, stop and then reflect for a while. Even think about how you can put it into practice.
There we go. And think about how you can put it into practice. So that's just in his words then, as we keep going. So you may have seen in the background, he had this 9-step model. And this is the roadmap that you get when you get started. And the course, as he also mentioned, consists of 4 modules. So these 4 modules is what you'll be taking. You will get this deck after the call, so don't worry about remembering all these bullet points or information. I'm just going to mention a few of the topics that you might expect to see when you're going through the course. So the first one is module 1, and this is called Preparing for the Journey. So naturally, this is going to start out by really talking about the value of employer branding. Why is it so important today? The fact that it is a talent-driven landscape. And also about involving your stakeholders from the beginning, the decision makers or those people you need support from. And also identifying your key talent audiences. What kind of people do you need to attract to your company and who will fit in? And also the very important step of reviewing the current status of your employer brand. So there's some information and tips and guidance on how to do that. The second module is called Build Your Strategy. So now we're taking this analysis of what you need and where you're at and saying, okay, let's define what our objectives are, our strategic objectives, our talent objectives, etc., and set KPIs, the key performance indicators for these. So it talks all about that. There's a whole list I think you can download from there as well. Also, there's a template to build a business case for employer brand investments. And of course, one of the very popular topics is the employer value proposition. So here you'll learn about that, not only what it is, but how it's structured, how you put it together, the different kind of perspectives and input and data that can go into putting something together that's, attractive and unique and sustainable. And module 3 is Plan Your Story. And this is the module that goes into the activation part, the communication, the visuals, the creative. So usually this is a very fun part, and a lot of people will usually skip to this in the real world, but these modules 1 and 2 are incredibly important. So 3, then, it's about establishing the right visual identity, developing an activation plan, an activation plan that will both build your employer brand in the long term over years, and also an activation plan that will at the same time meet your recruitment goals today, right? And then there's also information about targeting your communication, localizing your content, and a bit of an overview of all the main channels as well, and which ones that students use, which ones that professionals use. And then finally, module 4 is activate, align, and adapt. So here you take everything, and this is about, first of all, really enabling your stakeholders and enabling anyone that needs to be part of putting your employer brand strategy into practice. We're looking internally here. So it's about shaping the employer brand experience, looking at the candidate journey through the recruitment and hiring journey, and also the employee experience, which of course today is very, incredibly important. So this has been a big focus area. And then finally, naturally, to evaluate and evolve your strategy. All right, so I hope that makes sense. That's everything that it goes through. It is a lot of material, but it's packaged in a very sort of structured way when you go through. This certification, I mentioned before that I was going to talk about this again, so that's what I'm going to do now. This is a really rewarding part of the course, and I think this is one of the most rewarding for a lot of our participants, because not only have they learned a lot, but while they're taking the course or towards the end, this is an opportunity to apply what they've been learning to their actual work context for their company, right? So not only are you benefiting, yourself, that you will get certified, you'll have a diploma, you can call yourself an employer branding expert, but this is also, if you need to get some buy-in or convince anyone, this will also benefit your organization, because you will be putting together a piece of work that you can use and you can implement after you're done with the program. And there's probably a lot of steps when you're taking the course or the program that you can start doing at your organization. So it's a win-win, really. We want this to be very practical. All right. So to sum up, 4 main takeaways here, what you will get is that 1, you'll learn how to create an employer value proposition, future-proof your talent with the in-depth training. Secondly, during the course, you'll get exposure to real-life case studies from a number of different industries. So it'll hone in your abilities and equip you to handle the unique challenges that you have. And then also to develop the critical skills to build that talent attraction funnel and that recruitment funnel, to get the very best talents and also the talent that you need to your doorstep. And finally, to arm yourself with the strategies, the full strategy that we have, the different tools and the insights in order to make an impact at the company you work for, or that you will perhaps work for in the future. And to progress your career to the next level. I know for a fact that there are a few people who got a job that they got because of this certification. So hopefully, if you're looking to switch jobs or you're out there on the job hunt, this can be something to support you as well. All right, so last thing then that I will share, having gone through this, is the discounts. So as mentioned, we have these 2 options. We have the program. So the upcoming one is the one in the fall, which is on September 15th. And then there's a self-study, which you can start at any time. And we're giving a 25% discount for the program for any of you on the call or who are watching the recording. And we're giving you half off the self-study if you'd like to take that one instead. And if you're interested in this or need to get in touch with us, you can always start by filling out one of our forms on our website. So I'm just going to show you that. And as mentioned, you'll get this deck, so you can always refer to the deck afterwards as well. But on our website, it's, sorry, I didn't write it here, but it is employerbrandingacademy.com. We have on that page a contact me form. Okay, not the registration form, but a contact me form. And you'll notice it because only the contact me form has this message bar. So here, what we're going to do is share 2 discount codes with you. So if you're interested, or maybe you just have some questions first, go ahead and fill this out with your information. And in the message field here, you can add, depending on which one you're interested in, the discount code for the self-study, which is EBUASS for self-study. Or if you're interested in the fall program, then you can put in EBUAFP for fall program. Okay. And again, any other questions you have at that time, there will be someone from our team who will reach out to you as soon as they can to help you and support you with any questions you have, essentially. And I believe, yes, that's it. So just to clarify, it may take a day or 2. I know that some people are coming back to the office now, but don't worry, someone will reach out to you as soon as they can.
Eva, thank you very much for your presentation. I have one question about how long is this discount offer valid for our community?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's valid for the rest of the year. So if you need some time to figure out if you can do this or need to do this, or you have time. So you're welcome to sign up, on December 31st. That also works.
Yeah, that's very, very good opportunity. Thank you very much for the presentation, for the details.
My pleasure.
We also have the alumni, so Nadia, who has already graduated from this program and who could share with us her experience. Nadia, welcome, and just say some words about
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, I'm not very technical savvy, and I was very nervous that my mic will not work with Zoom. First, thank you very much for inviting me here. It's also quite a big responsibility and very big honor to represent alumni from this course. And I guess for me, I've been working in marketing for more than 10 years. And last couple of years, I've been on leading positions as Chief Marketing Officer. Also, I had my own startups, so I had to deal with brand reputation, hiring people, and especially one of my startups had more than 20 people from all the different territories globally. So I had also to make sure that I'm hiring right talents and putting them within all cross-culture communications structure. So currently I'm working at BSG, that's a telecom company, and the reason why I actually started thinking of getting employer branding qualification was first because that was a big growth for myself as a marketer. And second, obviously, it opens lots of career opportunities, as Eva has mentioned. And second, that was a practical task that I had, and I still have at my current company, because we started scaling the business, and unfortunately, due to war in Ukraine, we had to change our strategy completely. So we went to international markets, which was fortunate for business, and we started scaling our team as well. So the question was, how do we get right talent, and what do we need to do with the brand to actually be enabled to attract right talent and position ourselves for a market that we wanted to. And I have lots of different knowledge and skills, but I also have an imposter syndrome when I question myself whether it's just my gut feeling or is it something that I can prove. And very often you can prove something when you have references, when you have somebody who just presents you with all facts and numbers and figures that you can just come to all the stakeholders and show, besides your own vision and besides your own professional skills. So I looked at different courses in Coursera and Udemy, and even though this topic is fairly like ongoing for a couple years already, I would not say that there were too many options of like really deep and broad programs. So that was probably one of the deepest courses that I found in the network. And yeah, I also have got a soft spot for Swedish companies because one of my degrees is from Swedish University, and I knew that it's going to be an atmosphere where you can be relaxed, but at the same time, everything would be structured and practical, not just like lots of extra unnecessary information that is obvious. So what I found the most valuable for myself is the structure, because as Eva mentioned, that 9-step model, it actually helps you to define on which stage of life cycle you are at your company, with your company, whether you need to hire talent or whether you need to build employer branding strategy from scratch, or you are already like some of the guys in our course, some of our other participants, they were working from in United Nations company. So they already have got very big brand awareness. They are already one of top employers, but they also had their own struggles that they tried to achieve with employer branding. And what was very cool that like I focused on what I need at the right moment. So with all the instructions and ready to go templates, I could build employer branding strategy for my company, and I know what is next step. So it's not that I just came to my stakeholders, and what was also helpful, all these numbers that I needed, especially the one that if you don't build right employer brand, your employers would cost you extra 18% of budget of their annual salary. So that was very good argument why we actually have to change something. And I could come with that plan. We had very good structure of who is responsible for what. So what is the role of marketing in this strategy? What is the role of HR department? And where other stakeholders need to come along, like financial department or our CEO. So everybody got very clear picture of why it should be different from what we have now, why it's important, and what would be the next step, how much it's going to cost our company. And as I mentioned, like now we are working on that strategy, we are implementing it, and I know what's going to be the next step, and I can basically focus on my marketing part to attract talent in social media, to get other, even those social media that I could not think about in attracting right talent. So that was probably the biggest value that I've got from the course. And also I must say that community calls were really, like, to me, it was one of those joys, especially since everybody is working remotely, and it's very difficult where I'm now, I'm in South Africa, it's very difficult to actually build new business community around yourself. And this network that we had during these couple of months, that was very cool. So I really felt myself as a valuable team member in that group, and we shared some of our insights. We supported each other, and that was quite special. I felt like a student from the good perspective. And yeah, I think the only thing that we missed in this whole course was a graduate party, just to go get together and celebrate in the real time. But otherwise, everything was very cool. So if you have any questions, I would be glad to comment or answer.
While some of our listeners are maybe preparing some questions, I have one small question. So how long did it take and how much time did it take to obtain the course for you?
It was around about 2.5 months. And I honestly, I didn't have that much spare time because I still have full-time work and 3-year-old toddler who is very, very active. So I spent probably in average around about 3-4 hours a week. And sometimes it was just much more easier to spend half a day over weekend to go through one model, because it's very well structured by modules, and you can track your activity. You can always go back exactly to the point where you stopped. So to me, that was very handy because I didn't have to keep in mind where I was at the point when I started previous week. And I could save all the notes that were there because it's basically structured in the templates, in best practices. So I could just keep all the important notes saved for myself in case I need to go back to them later on.
Thank you. Maybe someone have any questions?
Say any questions at all, always happy to take them. Even if you think I said it before and you forgot, don't worry.
Yeah, we have a form on the site, on the Universum site, where you can ask your questions at any time. Also, we'll send the post communication to all the listeners with the links and with this instruction, how to use this promo code, the validation date. So just to remind you that this opportunity is open for our community until the end of the year. So you can think, you can see other opportunities and then just decide what is the best for you. But this opportunity is valid until the end of 2022. So it's very good. And you have like half a year to decide.
I see one question came in, so I'll go ahead and take that one. Yeah, Alexandra, thank you for your question. Are the materials for life or is it for limited time? It is a limited time. We give you 6 months access. However, we tend to be pretty flexible. So if you need more time, then we can give you extensions to your account as well. So you will have it through certification. Usually after certification, we'll give you another month or two so that if you want to download anything that you forgot, you can go in there and download material, for example. But your account won't be open indefinitely, if that makes sense.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Alexandra, for your question. Thank you, Yulia, for your comment. So today we have the format of a presentation of the opportunity, of a presentation of some experience that Nadia as an alumni has. And of course, if you will have some questions later, you can write to us or to Universum directly. So I suppose if you don't have questions, we will finish at this moment. We will thank you to Eva. Thank you very much, because we know that so this format of the presentation personally to the community is not very spread, and today it's very important and very valuable, not just to read something, but to have this eye-to-eye contact, and the presentation was really valuable. Thank you very much, Eva, for your time and for the presentation, and Nadia, for your emotions and feelings and experience that you shared with us. It was also very valuable to hear from the person who just graduated about the experience. And thank you to our listeners who spent with us like 40 minutes of your time. We hope that it was useful, that it is a great opportunity for us and our cooperation of employer branding community from Ukraine with Universum, with Employer Branding Academy, who gave us such a cool offer and discount. And of course, we can use it until the end of this year. Thank you very much, Eva. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you to all our listeners. And we'll see you at the next educational opportunity event very soon. Thank you, colleagues.
I hope to see some of you in the program. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. And thank you, Nadia, as well, for your kind words.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, have a good evening.
Great, thanks.